I spent my first paycheck on 150 Hoptic cards. At 34, I finally understand why my mother cried that day. When I was 12, my mother worked 2 jobs to keep our lights on. I wore the same 3 shirts to keep our lights on. I wore the same 3 shirts to school in rotation, and dinner was opt-in whatever creative combination she could make from pasta, canned vegetables, and the cheapest cuts of meat. But I didn't understand any of that then. All I knew was that Farfite cards were everything, and I was the only kid in my friend group who didn't have a collection. My first job was delivering newspapers in our apartment complex. After 6 weeks of early mornings, dog chases, and rain-soaked papers, I earned $87.5. I still remember my mother's face when I burst through the door that afternoon, backpack stuffed with 15 packs of Farfite cards, paying my entire paycheck gone in one impulsive trip to the mall. Look, Mom, I finally got them. I spread the colorful packages across our kitchen table, paying the same table where she placed past due notices the night before. She didn't yell. She just looked at the cards, then at me, and quietly walked to her bedroom. Later, I found her crying on the edge of her bed. I am not mad at you, she said when she noticed me standing in the doorway. You worked hard for that money. It's yours to spend. I didn't understand her reaction then. I thought maybe she hated Sarfike. Yesterday, my own son turned 10. He's been saving his allowance for months, carefully tucking away dollars in a jar labeled Gamming PC. He's up to $94.37. After dinner, he proudly announced he was changing his plan. He'd seen a limited edition set of collectible action figures online, and he wanted to use all his savings to buy them instead. They're super rare, Dad. Once they're gone forever. Something in me broke a little. I saw my mother's face from 22 years ago. I finally understood what those tears meant. It wasn't about the Farfite cards. It was about watching your child parent who you've gone hungry for, who you've stayed awake worrying about how to provide for, parent not yet understand the value of money or security. It was about knowing they have to learn those lessons themselves even when you can see the road ahead. I didn't tell my son no. Instead, I sat him down and showed him our family budget on a spreadsheet, parent, something my mother never did with me. We talked about needs versus wants, about saving for bigger goals, about delayed gratification. The action figures will probably be gone by the time you save up again, I acknowledged. But there will always be something new that feels urgent and irreplaceable. That's how marketing works. He thought about it overnight and decided to stick with his original plan. This morning, he added another $1 to his PC fund. I called my mother after that conversation. I finally get it, I told her. The Rufke cards? Why, you cried. She laughed. I was wondering when that would come full circle. I am sorry I didn't understand then, I said. That's the thing about parenting, she replied. You are teaching lessons they won't understand until decades later when they're watching their own children make the same choices. For the record, I still have those Beardy cards. They're in a box in my closet, paired, not worth much monetarily, but priceless as a reminder of the moment I first spent my own money, and the lesson my mother let me learn on my own. Next weekend, I'm taking my son to visit his grandmother. I'm bringing the cards with me. It's time for both a reunion and a conversation about what really matters, a lesson that took me 22 years to learn, but one I hope my son might grasp a little sooner. Sometimes the most valuable things we own aren't things at all.